I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, here we go. Here's this dude again. Where's he been? He said he was back, and he's been gone again for 3 weeks. But I need you to listen and understand where I'm coming from so you can see things from my perspective. You see, I've been sick. I'm not sick anymore. I was sick. The week after we shot that video, I got sick. And then our latest podcast, I got sick. And it wasn't, I thought it was just going to be a few days of sickness. I was completely wrong because I don't really get sick that often. But I was sick for almost 2 weeks. And of course, lo and behold, when I start feeling better, my wife ends up getting sick. So we couldn't shoot the podcast for about going on 3 weeks now. Holidays are around the corner. Needed to get ready for that. Obviously, we run a business. Got to make sure we're working on that. It's a lot. It's a lot trying to balance everything. But I really miss being consistent with my podcast because I really enjoy my podcast. Because as you guys know, I like talking. I talk a lot. And there's things that I want to talk about that I can't talk about because I need a longer platform to talk on. And sometimes I can't talk about these things on Instagram or on TikTok or on Snapchat because y'all just got the attention span of a freaking bullet ant or something. I don't even know. I don't really know what example to use, but you guys have really a short attention span. So it's hard for me to say what I want to say in a small amount of time and make it valuable and make it short and concise because that's a skill set that I'm still working on. But I'm writing solo today. She's got projects that she needs to get done. And like I said, I don't want to keep pushing this off. I want to get back into being consistent. Today's topic, we're going to talk about fitness stuff. Yes, we're talking about fitness stuff today. Specifically, fitness influencers and New Year's and all that jazz and the things that you're going to see. Well, actually, which you're probably already seeing now, which you've probably seen throughout all of this year. But you're probably going to see an influx of it because it's about to be 2024 and y'all know what that means. New Year's resolutions, everyone's going to the gym, everyone's focused on their health for the first month of the year. I'm joking, I'm throwing shade. Everyone is focused on their health. So I was training my client this morning and he sent me a video, and this guy is well known. Eddie is his name. He is on Instagram and he's an ex-bodybuilder. I don't know too much about this guy. I just started looking at his stuff today when I was sent this video, but this video stood out to me because I get what he's trying to do with the video. I really do, and he is spitting some facts. However, I just don't like the way it's delivered. A lot of what you see, a lot of what you will see, a lot of what you've been seeing from people that tell you to avoid or restrict certain foods or certain whatever it is, a lot of it is fear-mongering. It's easy to get you to work with them. It's easy to get you to feel like you need to rely on them when they fearmonger, when they make you feel like you're everything else out there is wrong. You know, everything else that you're hearing out there is wrong. Listen to what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is true and factual, and that's all you need to know is to listen to me. Don't do your own research because I know what I'm talking about, right? Anyway, a lot of people do that. But let's go ahead and take a look at this video because it is a good video. But I want to dissect it a little bit and give my opinion on some of the stuff because some of the things that he says is mind-boggling to me because some of the things that he's telling you guys to avoid are things that I have not avoided or restricted myself when I was on my fat loss journey. I was on my fat loss journey. I lost over 60 pounds. I didn't avoid or restrict. I did in the beginning, but I stopped. I didn't restrict anything. I had fruit. Let's just watch the video. Let's just watch the video before I start going on a tangent. There I go talking too much. Let's go.
5 foods to avoid if you're trying to lose body fat. Number 1, sugar. When I say sugar, I also mean fruit. If you're trying to lose body fat, stay the hell away from sugar. Sugar is the enemy. Your body doesn't know any difference between table sugar and sugar from fruit. Table sugar is sucrose, that's glucose, and fructose. And so is fruit. So a lot of people are going around eating lots of fruit. Every time you eat that fruit, you're telling your body to store energy for a rainy day. The only fruit you can eat if you're trying to lose body fat are berries. So if you're trying to lose body fat, stay away from sugar. That means all the other crap that you see in cereal, stay away from it and you lose the weight very quickly. Number 2, bread.
Okay.
My mom used to make.
Bro, shut up. Okay. All right. Respectfully, please stop so I can talk real quick. I agree with some of what he said. Obviously, sugar is in fruit. Yes, I think a lot of people know that sugar is in fruit. However, telling people to avoid eating fruit so that they lose body fat doesn't necessarily vibe with me. Now, weight loss and fat loss are two different things. When you lose weight, you're losing fat. You're primarily losing fat and you're primarily losing muscle. You're losing both, which you don't want that. You don't want to lose both. You want to lose strictly fat. When you're doing fat loss, when you're focused on losing body fat, that's all you're losing. You're retaining your muscle, you're retaining everything else. The only thing that your body is burning, the only thing that your body is using for energy, as a source of energy, is your fat. It's not going after your muscles or anything like that. It is strictly on your fat. You typically need a high protein diet to facilitate that on top of strength training, to tell your body like, hey, I'm using these, I need these, please don't use these for energy. You know, use my fat as energy instead, and try your best not to use my muscle as a form of energy. I started off my fitness journey, I was 215 pounds. I ate bananas and smoothies pretty much every day, protein shakes, all that stuff. I had all that. I had sugar pretty much every day, and I still saw weight loss. Calories in, calories out. And you're probably going to hear me say that a lot during this. Let's continue.
Was 4, sometimes 5 ingredients. Now the bread that you get from the shops, it's got 18, 19 ingredients, it's got so many things today. Plus gluten. It's not good for our guts. And then as soon as you put bread in your mouth, enzyme in your mouth sends it straight away into sugar. Bread is quite high on the glycemic index. That means it raises your blood sugar quite high and then releases insulin very quickly. So bread is your enemy. If you're trying to lose body fat, stay away from bread. Number 3, rice.
So what I'm hearing so far, avoid carbs. Avoid carbs. Don't touch carbs. Avoid carbs. Carbs have sugar. Bread is carbs. Bread is sugar. Avoid it because it's going to tell your body to store more body fat. For some people, yes. For everyone else, not so much. Again, at the end of the day, calories in, calories out. But let's continue.
Glucose monitor sometimes, and I've experimented with so many different foods and so many different products. When I say product, I mean biscuits. This is a product. The food that raised my blood sugar the highest was white rice. As soon as you put the rice in your mouth, your body breaks it down to glucose straight away. Blood sugar goes up.
As soon as I put the rice in my mouth, I'm like, "Ooh, yeah, this tastes great." Like what? Come on, man. Like, I get it. You're not wrong. But why are we trying to fear people into avoiding certain foods? Let me ask you this question, guys. Let me ask you this question. Your New Year's resolutions. What is one thing that you do the most? When you're trying to lose weight, what do you always do? You restrict yourself. You avoid food. You avoid your favorite foods. And what ends up happening? You probably fall off track because you're denying yourself of the foods that bring you joy. You're not enjoying whatever diet you're putting yourself on because you're denying yourself the good stuff. Why can't we focus on balance and moderation? And that's one thing that kind of bothers me about this video too, is we're not focused on that. Why aren't spit your facts, dude, please. Like, preach and spit your facts, but talk about moderation. Talk about the fact that, you know, having a high protein diet is favorable. Talk about the fact that you can eat fruit in moderation. Like, it's okay. It is okay. Let's keep it going.
The way the level goes up, and that's why the food is being stored as energy for you to use when times are hard. So if you're trying to lose body fat,
I mean, if it's being stored as energy, why not use that energy by being active? Go for a walk, go work out, you know, do something, go hiking, gardening, whatever you do to move your body so that your body's not storing this energy and converting it into fat. If that's the case, let's continue.
rice is not your friend. Number 4, low-fat products. When I say low-fat products, I mean exactly that. If you're trying to lose...
Okay, he's not wrong here. A lot of low-fat products have added sugar to them, but I'm going to keep him... Let's keep talking. Let's hear what he has to say.
Body fat. Stay away from anything that says low-fat on it, fat-free, ultra-light, light. To make it into low-fat, they either add something to it or they take something out of it. Stay away from it. Number 5, honey. People say to me...
This is all focused on sugar, by the way. Most products that are low fat or that say they're low fat, they either, yes, they take away the fat that was naturally in the foods that was made, or they replace it with sugar because when there's more fat in the food, it just tastes better. That's why if you do chicken breast and chicken thighs just taste better. Drumsticks and chicken breast, drumsticks taste better because they have more fat on them. And fat is delicious and fat is good. That's why I love the fatty pieces of my... All right, I'm getting off topic. But a lot of what he's talking about has just been focused on sugar and carbs.
Oh no, what about honey?
Sugar.
I put honey. Listen, honey is almost just like fruit, fructose and glucose. Sugar is sugar. Honey
Sugar
contains
is sugar.
You're trying to lose body fat. Honey is not your friend for a while. Just like fruit, there are two ways of creating insulin resistance. That's from fucking around with the blood sugar and by clogging up your liver with fructose. Fructose clogs up your liver, and fruit contains fructose and it contains glucose. All your cells can use glucose. Fructose goes straight to your liver. So if you're trying to lose body fat for a while, don't touch honey until you get to the point
Nah,
where you've lost
man.
your body fat and you're happy with what you're doing. Then you can have honey. I'm not
there's
saying
call
don't
to
have
action.
honey. Or I'm not saying don't have fruit. If you want to lose body fat, do these 5 things and you see you lose the fat.
Bro, you're confusing people. All right, so you're telling people. So in the beginning, he's telling you to avoid fruit, and then he's telling you to avoid honey, and then at the end of the video, he's like, "I'm not saying not to eat these things." So which one is it? Why could you not have just been like these? Eat less of these foods. Eat these foods in moderation to see fat loss, to see body fat loss. Avoid low-fat products. Make sure you read the labels on low-fat products because they either take away fat or they add sugar to it, and you may not realize it because it's showing low fat. And a lot of people think because it's low fat that, a lot of people think that fat makes you fat. And when they see low fat, they're like, oh, well, this is healthier because it has less fat in it. It's not going to make me fat. In reality, it has more sugar in it or it may have additional other ingredients in it that you're not aware of. So yes, look at the nutritional info. Be mindful of the things that you're putting in your mouth. But the fear mongering of avoiding and restricting, and then you're kind of contradicting yourself a little bit, it's confusing. It's very confusing. And if I didn't know my stuff, if I didn't know what I was talking about, I would be confused. And I see why a lot of people are confused when it comes to fat loss. And I'm saying fat loss, not weight loss, fat loss. Because ultimately that's what you want. You want fat loss, not weight loss. You want to lose fat and you want to keep everything else on your body, mainly your muscle. Because it's good for you. It's really good for you. Trust me. He didn't have any alternatives for you guys either. There was no alternatives for the fruit. There was no alternatives for the bread. There was no alternatives for the honey. There was no alternatives for the rice or the low-fat products. There was no alternatives at all. Rice is okay. Obviously, there are things that are better than rice. Brown rice, sweet potatoes. I mean, rice doesn't really have a lot of nutritional value to it to begin with, but it's still good, and we still like eating it. Quinoa is really good. With the fruit, eat the fruit. Eat your fruit in moderation. Don't do that stupid stuff that I see people doing online where they do like an all fruit diet and they eat nothing but fruit. I saw someone post this the other day on Facebook, and it was like eat nothing but fruit, and there were so many people participating in it. I'm just like, that's horrible for you. That is a recipe for disaster. So don't do all fruit diets. You're okay to have fruit. Please, you're okay to have fruit. You're okay to have sugar. Have sugar in moderation. I feel like trying to tell people not to eat these things and then they try not to, it just makes it harder for yourself. Why would you make something that's already hard to do harder for yourself? Moderate it and slowly cut back portions. If you're having 2 or 3 candy bars a day, cut that back to 2 and then cut that back to 1. But to completely rid yourself of having a candy or having a cookie or a donut or fruit, whatever it is ridiculous to me. The honey thing, what? I don't really even eat honey. But again, this whole thing, I'm just gonna wrap this up. This whole thing is focused on carbs and sugar. If you avoid those things, you are going to see weight loss. It's a freaking given. Like, it's a no-brainer. Obviously, if I don't eat in excess of sugar, I don't eat in excess of carbs, I'm going to see weight loss. But ultimately, what it boils down to is if I don't eat in a caloric surplus, I won't gain weight. If I eat in a caloric deficit, I will lose weight. Calories in, calories out. Guys, that's it. I try to make this one nice and short and simple and sweet for y'all, especially because I'm riding solo today. I ain't got my side piece with me, which is all good. But it's the end of the year. We're about to approach 2024. I know a lot of you guys have New Year's resolutions, and a lot of people are not really good at setting goals. And I was like that before too. I was really bad at setting goals. I would set these unrealistic long-term goals, never hit them. I would get discouraged. I would pretty much give up actually on my goal within the first month or two of the new year. And then obviously when the new year was coming back around again, got that spark. Let's go for it. Doing it different this time. And I would do it the exact same way. If your goal is fat loss forever, for the long term, for the rest of your life, you need to do a few things. Hear me out before I finish this. And I'm telling you this, guys, because I see it all the time, and I really want to leave you guys with something to walk into 2024 with, so that you just have a good foundation. Set long-term goals. It is okay to set long-term goals, but set a date on when you wanted to have it done. Make sure that it is a realistic goal. Not losing 15 pounds in a month or two, but losing 15 pounds in the next 6 months. That is a realistic goal. Once you have your long-term goal figured out, I need you to do another thing. I need you to start figuring out short-term goals. Now, these short-term goals should be the things that take you to your long-term goals. And if they're not, it's not serving you. But let's bring up that fat loss goal, for example. If your goal is to lose 15 pounds by June, you need to figure out how much weight you need to lose each week to get there. Now, obviously, if you're really good at tracking and you are really on point, if you started in January and you want to lose 15 pounds by June, you could easily do that by April. If you lost a pound a week, if you were completely consistent. But we're humans. Things happen, and we can't be consistent all the time. So give yourself the grace period of 6 months rather than 3 or 4 months to hit that goal. Because weight fluctuate, and a lot of this is trial and error, and you need to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Track your food. You don't need to do it in long term. I know every time I tell people to track their food, they're like, "Oh, Skylar, really, man? I don't want to do that. It's boring. It's monotonous." I'm like, you know what? It is. I didn't want to do it either. But I tell you what, learning that skill set was a game changer for me to lose the weight, to lose the body fat, and not have to avoid or restrict myself of the foods that I enjoy eating. And it made fat loss and weight loss much more enjoyable. And it's made maintaining this lifestyle that I've lived much more enjoyable. You see, if you track your food for about 3 months consistently, it's a skill set. It's a skill set that you develop. And after a while, you're able to start eyeballing things. You can eyeball portion sizes. You can eyeball the caloric content in the food. And you can pretty much eyeball how much protein and carbs or fats in there in the foods that you're eating. And we are a creature of habits. We eat the same foods all the time. So if you end up eating the same food all the time, you really don't have to track that much. You may have to track if you kind of, stray from what you normally eat. That's it. But if you're not tracking, you don't know. If you don't know, how are you going to make progress? You're not. So make sure that you are tracking. And one last thing. Just move your body. Just move your body. I get it. It's intimidating going to the gym. Some people don't want to go to the gym. That's totally fine. You don't need to go to the gym to lose weight. You can do stuff at home. You can do stuff outside. I mean, you can do stuff at the gym. But just find a way of movement that you enjoy doing and do that. Hiking, walking, playing for kids, taking your dog for a walk, pickleball, get into a sport. Find a sport that you may like, disc golf, whatever. Something to keep yourself active. But you need to be moving pretty much, not every day, but just move your body more than what you were doing before. And I guarantee you, even if you are still eating the same as you were, you don't change your eating at all, but you start moving your body a little bit more, you will still see changes. You will still see results. And that's how simple it is, in theory. Anyways, I hope you guys have a happy new year. I hope you guys enjoyed the solo session as well, too. Eddie, I wasn't trying to throw shade at you, my man, but I just don't really agree with the fear-mongering, and I see it a lot, and I'm just kind of tired of seeing it. If you're going to give information out like that, please provide alternatives, and you may have alternatives on other reels or other videos. I did not look at all your videos. I don't know. You may have alternatives. However, it's not in that video. And if you do have a reel for alternatives for people, it should have been linked in that video for them to go watch or something. I don't know. But I'm just trying to bring some clarity to you guys for a lot of the confusion that's out there when it comes to your health and fitness and nutrition and just living a healthier lifestyle for yourself. It's tough. And when you have a lot of confusion out there, it just makes it tougher. So hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I will catch you in the new one. Happy New Year. Please stick to your goals. Again, long-term goal, realistic goal, short-term goals. Track your food and move your body. I don't even know if you guys can even see this. Let me do this again. Long-term goal, realistic goal, short-term goal, track your food, move your body. I still don't know if you guys can see that or not. But it doesn't matter because we're done. And with that being said, let's Mosley.